All right, we are ready to go. Comp plan fun. Let me share my screen. Let me find it. Mute some people. And then, okay. Y'all are going to be so on fire, especially because, all right, you can see my PowerPoint. Make sure I'm on the right thing. And let me hit the little button. Where is it? Where'd it go? Slideshow, there it is. Okay. Whoopsies. I didn't start correctly. All right, we're just going to go back. It's fine. Everything's fine, guys. Okay, here we go. So I actually got to teach this class at SFR, I don't know when. And I remember being in the class and we I don't know, I got done. And I was like, I think we're done. But luckily people had questions and I hadn't taught compensation plan in a long time. So don't feel like, and I was mainly teaching like essential and certified consultants. So y'all are already doing great. If you have questions, put them in the chat. I currently cannot see the chat. So y'all pipe in at any time, my wonderful co-hosts, and let me know if we need to stop and take a minute. And then your challenge tonight will, you'll get to practice what I'm teaching you. So it'll be great. Okay, so here's the comp plan. You may have seen this a time or two before. You can find this, Google it on our workstation in the back of a catalog. You can go back to this at any time. In fact, sometimes I still go back to it. You know, you show new recruits, new people. You should constantly be working and using your compensation plan. And I will say the best way to actually get to know and use your compensation plan, which will kind of be part of your challenge, but you should configure your commission check every single month, because then you're constantly seeing those numbers. And yes, it's super easy to create a spreadsheet or some type of thing that does it automatically, but in the beginning you should be doing it yourself, pen and paper, and memorizing those numbers. So we've got, obviously our personal retail volume that we need every single month. I'm not going to go through every single detail because you guys are not certified in essential, you got this. But then with each level, not only does our group wholesale volume increase, but the number of active consultants we need, as well as and sometimes our team wholesale volume, if you're director or above. And then what also increases as we go up the comp plan is how much we make off of our lovely downline. Now let's get into it. So rank versus title. So rank is what you qualify at every single month. So you can be a director, but maybe you didn't earn director title. So you earn superstar consultant. That's what you got paid at, is superstar consultant. That is your current rank. So if last month you only reached superstar consultant numbers, then that is your rank, but your title is still director. That is your highest rank achieved, except at that director level. That's the only pesky level where things can kind of change and you can lose your title. You go into DQ or superstar consultant. And what's most important, as we'll see in a minute, is we always get paid at our rank versus someone's title. There you go. And the way we get paid is on our frontline's title. So if our frontline is a certified consultant, we'll get paid on that, well, depending on what your level is, but them being certified, even if they have a superstar consultant underneath them, you're still getting paid at their title, not their entire team's title. It's pretty basic and simple once we get into it. Okay, so visual, here we go. So Joanne is a star consultant, and she has 3 frontline. She has Missy, who's a lead consultant, Becky, who's a certified consultant, and Laura, who's a star consultant. Now, if you notice, this is what I was talking about, is Becky, who's a certified, also, she has 2 frontline, one who's certified and one who's star. So Joanne, she does hit her title of star for the month of, are we still in April? So in March, she hit star. So she gets paid on Missy, who's a lead consultant, and Becky. So if Pansy's a star consultant, she at least did 2,500 in TWV. So let's just say Becky did 3,000 PWV. You're getting paid at that 3,000 at the certified level, because it's only frontline that we really need to worry about. Now, Laura is a star consultant. Laura's doing a great job. She's recruiting. She's moving on up the comp plan. Unfortunately, Joanne does not make any money off of Laura, and not a penny, because they are the same. They're the same title, and Joanne is the same rank. And we'll see some other examples here in a little bit. Okay. Quick side notes, staying solo versus team building. So in the beginning, and you may have heard this from recruits, or even, I've heard it from my own husband, from people that I know. Why team build? If I'm at a party and the person wants to join, well, now they're taking my sales. But in the long term, you make the most money off of your downline. In the very beginning, your sales are really is what you're seeing in your paycheck. And it can take a little while for that, tipping point to happen. It's a really fun time when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually getting paid the same amount off my team as I am myself. And then it kind of starts to grow and you're like, okay, this isn't so bad. So if you have more questions or feel like, you know what, I still can't get people to see why it's important to recruit, then, we can have a side conversation about that. But if you're wanting a long-term business, recruiting is where it's at. Okay. Now, if you're kind of a little nervous, I know y'all are in this amazing Ignite and you're wanting to grow, but sometimes it's still a little scary. It feels like a lot of work. I know we've been throwing things at you over the last couple of weeks, and it can look like too much work, but remember the things that we've talked about: creating systems, keeping things simple, realizing that you are that person and you can be any type of leader that you want. And then sometimes even you can be a superstar director and still think, man, I don't know how to do this. Sometimes I feel like I'm a fraud or I'm not doing it right. But you do. And do you even want to recruit? I mean, sometimes we have seasons where we're like, yes, I'm recruiting all the people and I'm so excited. And then other seasons it's like, man, okay, I need to get back on my recruiting bandwagon. And that season could be because we don't have enough time. We're not spending enough time on it. All right. Nothing that lasts is accomplished quickly. And I think all of us, anyone who's done anything remotely worthwhile in life can attest that nothing that lasts is accomplished quickly. If you've ever been married, if you've had kids, had friendships, or been in this business longer than a couple of years, it doesn't happen quickly, but it's worth it. Okay. So to be a team leader, sorry, I should have changed this. Okay. Remember, you always have to hit your 500 PRV. I always strive for 2,000. It may not always happen, but I learned for a long time I was just a 500 PRV a month. That was my goal, and I barely hit it. And if you look back on my numbers, those were the months and or years where my business was very stagnant. I was unhappy. I was not where I wanted to be. So if you don't want to stay stuck, then shoot for that higher PRV, shoot for that, 5% increase in your paycheck every single month. And then have a recruiting goal. Doesn't mean that you have to hit it every single month. I think if y'all know who Rachel Field is, an SSD in the UK, she has like a recruiting goal of 10 every month. And so it gets her going and it gets her excited. But she's like, I got one. And so she's like, if I didn't have that goal of 10 every month, then I may never get the one, because her goals would be really tiny. And she'd be like, oh, it's fine. I only wanted to recruit one and I didn't. So, 50-50 chance. But she's like, I go for that 10 every single month, which I thought was a really good way to look at that. Front load your month. And I have follow up using Maven. I didn't change that to Amy, but following up is really important every single month. We have to follow up every single month, and we can't take those breaks. I used to take breaks during the summer, like, oh, I deserved it. I worked so hard during the fall and the spring. It's summertime, my kids are home. And then by the time August came or September, I can't front load my month because I haven't been working my business. So really front loading your month allows you to hit the goals that you're trying to reach. If you're having a hard time, hitting director numbers and you're afraid to go down to DQ, you're not front loading your month and you're not teaching your people to front load your month. We should not be waiting until the last week of the month to all of a sudden go, okay, what challenge do I need to give my team? I need to come up with a challenge because we have to hit our 10,000 and we're so far away from it. I got to come up with a challenge. If you want your people to hit your 10,000 without having to stress the last week, you should be doing that in the first week of the month, because you want them to front load every single month. You want to get those orders in, and you want to be in a really good spot by the 15th of every single month. No waiting to this last month and pressuring people. Teach them to do it at the beginning. Plus it's more fun, it's less stressful. Okay. Performance tab overview, what to look for. This is part of being a leader. As you're looking at your numbers, I'm not one who writes down my numbers every single day. I like to do it on the 1st and the 15th, and then of course the last day of the month. But I do look at my numbers every day. I look at my team and I see where they're at and who's doing what, who's front loading, who on launch days now, I look and see where we're at, who's doing what, who's selling, did their PRV go up today? And I reach out, especially like if you are teaching your people to kind of front load, you can kind of tell by mid-month, okay, where's everyone at? And are they even close to promoting? If you split, the month, it's in half, the 15th. So you can kind of double people's PRV and say, okay, you could potentially hit, lead consultant. You're so close to certified. You're so close to star. And start getting those people working instead of the last few days of the month or even the last week. Start having them work the last 2 weeks or even the last 3 weeks. Kind of see where people are at. That's what you should be looking for every time you log in. And I'm one of those that also truly believes in not just working with my frontline. Frontline is super duper important, right? That's who we're getting paid off of. But if you see a rock star, just like we saw, Becky was stuck at certified, and Pansy, she was already star. Well, I love Becky. I'm glad that she's a certified, but I really want to work with Pansy because she could still be my next director. She can totally go the distance and be that next first gen director. She can pass Becky. Becky could eventually catch up if she really wanted to, but you want to find those rock stars, and checking those numbers month after month and visually seeing that and then reaching out is really helpful with knowing you know, your leaders. We talk about how do we find new leaders? That's part of it, is by watching and seeing what they're doing and working with them. Okay, before I get to the challenge, chat. Do you have any questions? Oh, front load, okay. Yes. Yeah, front loading is all about getting things done at the beginning of the month. So planning parties, any challenges you're going to do with your team, you want to do that at the beginning of the month. Same with LTOs. If we know what LTOs are coming, I'm not one who is like finds out March 1st what the warmer is for April, because I do think that might be a little early. But a week or two before the start of the next month, if you know that something is coming, start talking about it. You know, we post things on social media or we send it out, and people either see it, or because of the algorithm, they don't see it. And so we need to be posting in our stories, posting in your VIP groups if you have one, getting our teams to share it. I don't know how many times like I'll remember like, oh, I want to order that. But then I get an email a week later that's like, hey, don't forget, you know, you have this in your shopping cart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot a week ago. We are all busy. So following up, reminding people that these things are coming. I've talked about the Little Mermaid collection. I've put it in my stories and I've made a post about it on my Facebook, but I will post about it and put it in my stories again, because there are some people that haven't seen it. My stories only last for 24 hours and then they're gone. So, you know, if someone missed my story because they were busy for 24 hours, then they don't realize that Little Mermaid came. So that's what I'm talking about, is getting those orders in, getting those parties going, even fundraisers. I love to plan my fundraisers so that I'm kind of closing out at the beginning of the month instead of the end. Okay, any other questions? Okay. I'm going to switch over to our challenge. Hold on. I'm going to stop share and then reshare. Okay. Do we see that? The configuring your commission check? Okay. So that's already uploaded in your Trello. This is your homework. All of your SSDs have the what is that? The thingy that has all the answers on it. The key, that's what it is. I was like, oh, my mom's a teacher, I should know the word for this. They have the key. It's actually right here. I'm not going to show you the answers. So what you're going to do, you can print it off, you can put it on your phone, and you know, some of y'all are techie and can write on it with your phone. But by Friday, I want you to send what you think Wanda has earned for the month of March. We'll say this is her March paycheck. So remember, I'm even kind of giving you a reminder, rank versus title. So Wanda's a superstar consultant, and then she gets her PRV. And then Scentsy calls, anything outside of your PRV is part of your bonus check. So you're going to figure out what her bonus is. I hope you really enjoy their names. Shelly Samples is super amazing. So you're going to, your biggest thing, well, I'm going to ask y'all, what do you think you're going to need in order to figure this out? You can put it in the chat. Yep, the compensation guide. I mean, unless you've memorized it, but this is a good way. This is what like we used to do in the olden days. We'd get out like our piece of paper and we'd like write out like name and then the their TWV and then times 0.02 or 0.05 and figure out what it is. So that is your homework. Any questions or anything you want me to go over? And you can totally unmute if you want. All right. Do y'all feel like you're going to be experts after today? Feeling it? All right. I love it. Okay. So you've got your challenge. Super excited about Friday Friends. So that'll be great. Keep going, keep doing. Y'all are doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. And if you do have any more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your SSD to work through it. And back in the day before the internet was invented. No, just kidding. But that's what it felt like. I sat on the phone with my upline and we both were like, we don't know this comp plan, but we're going to figure it out. So you can totally do this and totally reach out. All right. And you've got your accountability squads too to help each other out, but no cheating. I'm looking at all of you in the eye. No cheating. Okay. Do it yourself. All right. Y'all have an amazing night and we'll see you later.